From WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News Late Edition.
Good evening, I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Joy Lambert. We've been tracking some wicked weather as strong and sudden storms have been popping up throughout the area, dumping a lot of rain in a short amount of time.
Our team coverage begins. Ashwell, who's live in the Fox 45 mobile track. So, Alexa, what are you seeing on the roads?
Oh, Kai, Joy, we have a steady amount of rain coming down right now. We're on 83 South. Here's a look at conditions. Baltimore County just crossing into Baltimore City. And this is kind of what we've been seeing, just some steady light rain, heavier in some areas, lighter in others. Just 30 minutes ago, we were on 695. The rain was a little bit heavier, around 70. But again, this is a look at conditions, 83 South here in Baltimore City. I want to show you some video we shot earlier when the heavy rain was really coming down around the evening rush hour. Some parts of Baltimore County got more than 2 inches of rain, and that water really began to build up on the road, causing some dangerous conditions. We saw police, fire, medic responding to various calls across the area. Thankfully, we did not receive any reports of serious injuries. Also, no reports of significant flooding, so that is good news. But as you can see, the rain's still coming down. The roads are wet, so you'll certainly want to take it slow out there. Back to you all in the studio.
All right, thank you. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell reporting. Chief Meteorologist Ashley Kramlich is joining us now live to tell us that these storms will be hanging around for the weekend.
Right. And Ashley, I know that you've been following these storms, seeing the heavy deluge that we saw earlier today. And the White House was even flooded at one point.
Yes. So areas around the White House received really heavy rainfall. There were reports actually of a few cars that were stranded earlier this evening. So very heavy rainfall in the D.C. metro, but also very heavy rainfall here in Baltimore. So we are still looking at the chance for rain tonight. Most of the heavy activity is starting to wind down, but we still have the chance throughout the weekend, which means our flooding threats are going to be sticking around for the next few days. So that's going to be the biggest concern. Very heavy rainfall started to fire up around 5 p.m. this afternoon. Most of the activity is winding down. Still some steady rainfall south of Baltimore, but a very strong storm over Calvert County and making its way over the bay into the eastern shore. That steady rainfall not producing too much rain on the roads. We're seeing about 2 lightning strikes with this within the past 15 minutes. This will continue to push off east as we go into the next few hours. We still have aerial flood warnings in effect until early tomorrow morning. So the flood threat is still with us throughout our overnight hours. Still going to be watching that for tonight. Temperatures will drop into the mid to upper 60s tonight, and with showers still lingering and then more rain on the way the rest of this weekend. We'll detail out your weekend forecast as well as talk about Tropical Storm Florence and what it could mean on our impacts next week. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Ashley. Put the power of the Weather Authority Storm Center in your hands. Download the WBFF Weather Authority app from your smartphone. Use our powerful Doppler radar to follow storms right down to your street. There's also a 10-day planner and hour-by-hour forecast. Best part of the Weather Authority app is that it's free. Just go to your app store and search for WBFF to get started.
A former Morgan State basketball player is gunned down in Baltimore County and was also a key witness in a murder case. Johnson is scheduled to stand trial in 2 weeks on drug charges. Both brothers stand trial in January for murder. Meantime, Carrington was a standout, both on the basketball court and off as well. Our Jeff Abel is live at Morgan State University tonight, where she's being remembered. Jeff?
That's right. Carrington spent some 4 years leading the women's basketball team here at Morgan. And tonight, while her killer is on the loose, many of those who knew her are a little reluctant to talk on camera. But off camera, they are very much talking about Carrington's contributions. Tracy Carrington played 4 years here on the women's team at Morgan and later played overseas in Australia. And last night, she was gunned down while leaving the S&S lounge with a friend. Police are convinced Carrington was targeted, but her friends and relatives cannot understand why anyone would want to kill her.
Everyone's lost a great human being, like an amazing person, a person that would do anything for anybody. She's impacted a lot of people's lives in a positive way.
Earlier today, the university issued a statement saying her loss is a true loss and saying the university hopes her killer is brought swiftly to justice. We're live at Morgan tonight. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
Jeff, thank you. It was a shocking crime made even more so today by police after police have charged a 14-year-old boy and he's sexually assaulting and murdering an 83-year-old woman. Police have arrested Tyrone Harvin, who just turned 14 with the murder of Dorothy Mae Neal. Neal was found in her West Baltimore apartment last week. She died one day later. Neighbors say people were always rushing to her to help carry her bags. Police say that may have been how Harvin gained access to commit the crime.
It's possible that Mr. Harvin had helped her, do some chores every now and again. Again, we're not specific about exactly what, but it would help her do some chores. So it appears he could have been in the apartment for, regular reasons. He lived in the general area.
He was 14, but he knew what he was doing.
Harvin does have a juvenile record for other crimes, but now that he's 14, which is the minimum threshold, he's being charged as an adult in the Neal murder. Police have their version of what happened in this case, and so does the boy's mother. Keith Daniels is live at City Police Headquarters with her emotional side of the story. Keith.
Well, Joy, police have said it's a sad story for both sides, and tonight the suspect's mother is speaking out. Now, the one.
Thank you. Former President Obama back on the campaign trail, still ahead. What he has to say about the current state of American politics and how to make change. And an historic building in Fells Point goes up in flames overnight. The impact it's having on the community when the late edition returns.
A devastating 4-alarm fire in Fells Point destroys a well-known family business, which has been around for 150 years. The fire began around 2 in the morning at Buddecke Paint Company on South Broadway.
Well, they never squared off against each other on the campaign trail, but President Trump and former President Barack Obama are trading jabs on the campaign trail. An astonishing sight at a popular Mexican restaurant. Why this patron came crashing through the ceiling.
And it's one of the world's largest nuclear powers. What the recent security agreement between the U.S. and India might mean for the world when the late edition continues.
Still active flood warnings in the area tonight. We're looking at a wet weekend ahead. Plus, I'll take you through with the latest track of Tropical Storm Florence and if it could be impacting us next week.
Tonight's Sports Unlimited is sponsored by Toyota RAV4. Let's go places.
Home Life Remodeling is a proud sponsor of Fox 45 News.
Bob Bell Chevy is a proud sponsor of Fox 45 News.
We know Baltimore City schools have their share of problems.
We also know there are a lot of good stories to be told. That's why Fox 45 News Project Baltimore is fighting to save our schools.
Fox 45 News Project Baltimore is brought to you by the Snyder Law Group.
The United States recently signed a major security agreement with India. So what does this mean for relations between the two countries moving forward? Circus Russ Reed explains. A couple of really hot days this week, Ashley, but today was actually pretty pleasant out there.
Yes, for most of the day, we had those clouds roll in and it allowed for a break from the heat, and we're actually not going to be talking about that sizzling summer heat for a while. We are looking at a major cool down this weekend. Unfortunately, though, we are going to be looking at a lot of rain in the forecast. So right now, this is a 6-hour loop of when we saw those showers and storms fire up around 5 p.m. this afternoon. Most of the heavy rainfall is done for tonight, but we're still seeing some pretty heavy rainfall starting to move over the bay into the eastern shore. Some steadier rain south of Baltimore over Anne Arundel County. This is just east of Bowie and Annapolis, seeing some steady rainfall. This is all pushing off to the east, and this activity will eventually wind down. As far as rainfall totals, we saw some pretty heavy rainfall indicated by those yellow shadings on on the map. We saw almost 3 inches of rain in some portions of Baltimore County, around 3 inches of rain just west of Ellicott City, as well as just here in Baltimore, around 2 inches of rain. So very heavy rainfall fell in a short period of time, so that did lead to some flooded roadways. We do still have an aerial flood warning in effect for most of the area until after midnight tonight, so still going to be dealing with the potential for some of those roads to continue to hold that water out there. As far as the next few days, keep the umbrella around. We're looking at a pretty soggy setup, and with the potential for some heavy rainfall, that will carry our flood risk through the weekend. The good news is that the temperatures will be dropping, but unfortunately it comes with a chance of rain, and then all eyes turn to Tropical Storm Florence as we go into next week. A few spotty showers possible tonight. Tomorrow morning, we'll wake up with a few showers, and then by the afternoon, maybe a spotty shower. I don't think we'll see many thunderstorms because tomorrow will be a whole lot cooler. By tomorrow evening, looking mostly dry. Not an all-day event for our Saturday. Different story on Sunday. Tropical Depression Gordon will be moving in, and that will be bringing a good bit of moisture with it. So steady rainfall ongoing for the majority of your Sunday. Just make plans just in case. Temperatures tomorrow will be in the 70s. Definitely a whole lot cooler than those 90s. We're going to be in the low 70s here in the city or outlying areas, maybe staying in the upper 60s. So definitely a cooler day for your Saturday, and even Sunday is looking even cooler. Low 70s again for our northeastern counties, and it is going to be a much cooler weekend, but we are talking about the chance for maybe some potential tropical activity. There's Tropical Storm Florence. It is expected to become back into a hurricane as we go into the next few days by Sunday, making it back into a Category 1 and then back into a Category 4 hurricane by the start of next week. We'll talk about more about that potential as we go into next week as well. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Ashley. A bad day for Tesla stockholders as the electric car maker took a hit after a trifecta of troubling stories. It begins with word that both the company's chief accounting officer and its human resources chief announced their departures. It was further compounded when Tesla founder Elon Musk displayed erratic behavior while appearing on Joe Rogan's podcast, smoking marijuana and playing with a flamethrower. Well, Tesla stock dropped as much as 10% today. Yeah, it's a bad day for a woman at Sabrosa Mexican Grill in Garden Grove, California, after she fell 25 feet through the first floor ceiling to the floor below. How did it happen? Employees say a homeless woman had asked to use the restroom and her directions to a bus stop. Well, somehow, while in the restroom, she boosted herself to the ceiling by standing on top of a toilet and crawled through the suspended ceiling. Police say she was under the influence of drugs.
A good day for thousands of Walt Disney World workers after they overwhelmingly approve a new contract that increases the starting minimum wage to $15 an hour. The increases will take place over the next 3 years and allows Disney to use more part-time workers. It also requires new workers to stay in their positions longer before being transferred. The contract covers more than half of the 70,000 workers at Disney World.
A popular drugstore chain says it's come up with a solution to the current EpiPen shortage crisis. That's news you need to know.
And it sounds like something out of a Looney Tunes cartoon, but it was very real as a woman lights what she thought was a candle in her home. The explosive results that defy common sense. The U.S. saw another strong month of hiring, slightly beating analysts' expectations. Coming up, Sunday marks the regular season debut of the revamped Ravens offense. What we can expect from Joe Flacco and his new receivers, that's next in Sports Unlimited.
And coming up after the late edition on Seinfeld, George learns there's such a thing as TMI when you're out on a date. And Jerry ponders the age-old question, does soup count as a meal? That's tonight after the late edition.
Fox 45 Morning News gets you ready for back to school.
Here's where parents get their local news while kids get ready for school.
Here's where the kids know what the weather's like at the bus stop.
And right here is how moms and dads know the best route to get to school.
Clear.
And the best part is the ticker stays up on screen all morning long.
Even during commercials.
Fox 45 Morning News.
All local, all morning.
That's all tonight for the late edition. Thank you for watching. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Joy Lambert. Now here's Morgan Adsit with Sports Unlimited. Morgan.
Thank you, Joy and Kai. It's going to happen. The Orioles' 100th loss. The Birds opened their series in Tampa Bay just one loss shy of it at 41-99, hoping to push that wrong side of history milestone back as long as they can. That's all for Sports Unlimited. I'm Morgan Adsit. Thank you for watching and have a great night.
Weather moves fast, and so do we. Introducing the new Fox 45 Chevy Storm Tracker, bringing you earlier warnings to approaching storms.